Good afternoon and welcome to CVM Live with the noon edition on CVM Television, online at cvmtv.com. And remember, you can download our CVM TV Smart app from the Google Play Store. I'm Whitney Levy. A St. Thomas-born primary school teacher turned Democratic House representative in the U.S. is calling on Jamaicans to hold their political representatives accountable for the task they were elected to do. She spoke with CVM's Nika Lewis as she reflected on her rise from poverty to political power.
She left Jamaica in her 30s and worked as a housekeeper for years before going back to the classroom and advancing her educational studies. Today, she is a Democratic representative for citizens in District 5, Rhode Island, in the United States, since being elected in November 2016. Why politics?
Young man got shot and killed June 20th, 2016. And at that point, June 20th, 2016, I said, I'm running because I felt that we could really change the trajectory of young people's lives and of people's lives by passing good common sense gun control laws.
She recalls how education gave her wings to flee from poverty in St. Thomas and encourages other poor Jamaicans to keep hope using her story as inspiration. Ranglin Vassell explained how while she is fighting overseas, locals must hold their politicians accountable too.
In my neighborhood, over 40 years ago in 11 Miles Boulevard, we had no water. And we might have set the trend, if you will, in 11 Miles, asking government to do what government needs to do for the people, which is make sure they have water, clean running water, make sure they have a good environment, clean air, right? Making sure that they have transportation, good roads. And I was a little disappointed that over 40 years later, people are still blocking the road. And, I would say to them, hold your elected officials accountable.
Nika Lewis, CVM Live.
A curfew has been imposed in sections of 2 miles in the St. Andrews South Police Division. The curfew began at 6 p.m. yesterday and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Thursday, November 16. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows: north along Waltham Park Road from Crescent Road to Norman Lane, south along Norman Lane from Waltham Park to Spanish Town Road, east along Spanish Town Road from Norman Lane to Spanish Town Road, west along Crescent Road from Spanish Town Road to Waltham Park Road. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within the boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. The Inspectorate of Constabulary, IOC, has launched an investigation into an incident being circulated on social media where a policeman was seen in a confrontation with a member of the public. The Jamaica Constabulary Force says it takes seriously all allegations about abuse by any of its members and is making it clear that there is no place for unprofessional conduct within the organization. The police public interaction policy clearly guides all police interactions with the public, and any deviation from this constitutes a breach of discipline. The JCF adds that it is committed to delivering professional services to members of the public as it seeks to create safer communities. Police in St. James continue to investigate yesterday's fatal shooting at a place of learning. Here's Curlin Brown.
Parents collecting their children Tuesday afternoon in the drizzle from the Challenge Basic School on Water Lane in downtown Montego Bay.
Yeah, there's some shooting take place around here, so come from the grandkids, Yeah, man, for real. I'm telling our kids,
The injured man already rushed off for medical treatment. Police officers monitoring the scene. All now appeared calm.
Things is okay so far.
What really occurred here, though?
I can't tell you.
Oh.
Can't tell you. Can't give you no such information right now.
But there was an appearance was hurt here.
Yes, the parents was hurt.
While collecting this child?
Yes, but the child is fine.
Fine is, however, relative, considering the brazen shooting incident in the small space.
Serious something that, man, place like school, charge so much children there and teacher, and perpetrator come doing kind of something there. That's not good for society, man, that bad. Real bad, man.
As these violent incidents pop up, The call is for more to be done to address the crime problem in St. James.
Well, right now, the amount of crime and violence that man to be, the government will go to the man, put out soldiers in the street and all, yeah, man. A full-time feeling doesn't make it try work just like the police different from the zoos over them at all, but make soldiers and police run the street. Because too much I know.
The Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services TODS is calling on the government through the Transport Ministry to implement stringent measures to reduce the high level of indiscipline in the public transport sector. The group says while they admit that it is incumbent on them to clean their space of rogue operators, it has become more and more evident that the sector is awash with elements that give rise to indiscipline. TODS spokesman Edgerton Newman says there are some 40,000 cars seeking to carry passengers and are classified by members of the state and civil society as public passenger vehicles, giving a broad impression that the sector is indisciplined. He wants the government to ensure that when illegal operators are removed, it is mandatory that they apply for a PPV license before their vehicles are released. Mr. Newman says the group will observe tomorrow as Black Thursday and is urging all members of the sector to wear something black to peacefully protest the need for serious attention for the industry. Minister of Transport and Mining Mike Henry yesterday announced the imminent launch of National Minerals Week, November 19 to 25, bringing together various stakeholders and sector interests in a common space to explore the sector's contribution to sustainability. CVM's Joel Crossgill reports.
Minerals represents a significant component of Jamaica's natural wealth. It remains one of the country's oldest and most resilient sectors that continues to perform positive.
The traffic ticket amnesty has been extended by 45 days. It will begin on November 27 and end on January 13, 2018. National Security Minister Robert Montague made the announcement yesterday. The government had implemented a traffic ticket amnesty to allow motorists with unpaid traffic ticket fines to make payments without incurring a penalty or interest. Tickets may be paid online at jamaicatax.gov.jm or at any tax administration of Jamaica office island-wide. Jamaicans are being urged to take greater responsibility in the use of antibiotics to prevent antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is the ability of a bacterium, virus, and some parasites to prevent antibiotics from working. Director of Veterinary Public Health in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Lynette Peters, explained the importance of adhering to your antibiotic schedule.
There are lots of times when we even go to physicians and we tell them, please prescribe us antibiotic. I need some antibiotic. Sometimes the condition for which you request the antibiotic is not really needed for this condition. And as a result, giving the antibiotics, you can develop resistance.
Dr. Peters was speaking at a recent JIS think tank that was held in recognition of World Antibiotic Awareness Week, which is set for November 13 to November 19. The theme for World Antibiotic Awareness Week is Antibiotic, the End of an Era. In regional news, Trinidad-owned Caribbean Airlines is being told to freeze wages, cut unprofitable routes, and end sweetheart deals with pilots if it wants to return to profitability. This is the recommendation of a joint select committee of Parliament set up to review the going-ons at the airline. We have more in this report.
Several operational practices within Caribbean Airlines Limited have raised a few eyebrows amongst the members in Parliament's Joint Select Committee. Key among the concerns, pilots abusing their travel privileges.
We requested from the company a schedule showing how many jump seats for trips were taken by pilots for personal use. And as we reported previously, there was more than one individual who ran up very high numbers. We couldn't understand how could one man make 100 free jump seat personal trips a year. 100. I mean, when do you work?
The committee recommends instead that the first 20 jump seats used for personal reasons be deducted from the employee's annual allocation of free travel, after which an additional 20 flights max can be accessed. CAL is also being advised to reconsider some of its standard routes to North American destinations, as records show a continuous decline in passenger numbers.
where over the past 5 years, there have been unabated trend of declining passenger numbers and massive financial losses.
Chairman David Small says that this reality should serve as a clarion call for management to address the matter within the GSE's recommended time of 3 months.
I have masses of information, and we won't put the exact numbers out there, but the losses the Caribbean Airlines have suffered on some of these routes in the past 5 years are massive, massive losses.
Additionally, the GSE says it is peeved by CAL's hiring of foreign pilot staff when there is a clear abundance of local professionals who can do the job.
We have enough there, lots of pilots that we're aware of who are qualified and trained can't get a job at Caribbean Airlines. Why are they advertising internationally for pilots? So this was an issue that particularly peeved this committee when, by their own admission, when they sought pilots locally, there was an abundant supply.
The committee did derive, however, that the company seems to have a strong brand loyalty despite its several shortcomings. It recommends this be utilized to...
Good evening and welcome to News Live in 5. I am Joel Crosskill. There was a shooting incident outside a place of learning in St. James today. Frightened by the news, parents hastened to get their children, all minors, as police began their investigation.
Loved ones collecting their children Tuesday afternoon in the drizzle from the Challenge Basic School on Water Lane in downtown Montego Bay.
Yeah, I mean, there's some shooting take place around here, so I come from the grandkids, you know? Yeah, man, for real. I'm glad I'm telling my kids them.
The injured man already rushed off for medical treatment. Police officers monitoring the scene. All now appeared calm.
Things is okay so far.
What really occurred here, though?
I can't tell you.
Oh.
Can't tell you. Can't give you no such information right now.
Mm-hmm. But there was an appearance was hurt here.
Yes, the parents was hurt.
While collecting this child.
Yes, but the child is fine.
Fine is, however, relative considering the brazen shooting incident in the small space.
Serious something that, man, place like school, charge so much children there and teacher, and perpetrator come doing kind of something there. That's not good for society, man, that's bad. Real bad, man.
As these violent incidents pop up, the call is for more to be done to address the crime problem in St. James.
Well, right now, the amount of crime and violence that man to be, you know, the government will go school of them, man. Put out soldiers in the street and all, yeah, man. A full-time feeling doesn't make it sure work just like the police different from the Zozo, what them at all. But make soldiers and police run the street. Because too much, I know.
The gap between men and women earning in the work environment can be made narrow if societies seek to provide equal opportunities for girls and boys educationally. That's the word from international brand strategist and motivator Flavilla Fongang.
Men and women are different, but it doesn't mean that we need to compete against one another. And I think it's always this thing, I'm not a feminist, I'm an equalist. I'm going to say that I'm not a feminist, I'm an equalist. I believe that women comes and have a very big part in the sense of how we interpret information, how we consume information, how do we transform that into values, and so does the men. The men are, you know, like again, as I said, the men use their spatial and motor skills to be able to think differently, and so is the woman. The relationship of the brand has changed. So should we change as well? People that lead the markets, and especially at the leadership level.
She was speaking at the Women's Entrepreneurship Day 2017 under the theme Turning Point, It from Grit, recently held in Kingston. A high alert has been activated for 7-year-old Recoy Copeland of 18 Avenue West Cumberland, Portmore in St. Catherine, who has been missing since Friday, November 10. He is of dark complexion, slim build, and is about 4 feet 7 inches tall. Reports from the Portmore police are that about 3:30 p.m. Recoy was last seen at school waiting to be picked up. At the time, he was wearing a T-shirt and jeans. All efforts to locate him have proven futile. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Recoy Copeland is being asked to contact the Portmore police at 949-8422, police 119 emergency number,